What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Sunday Seconds. I'm your host, Brandon Mitchell, and I am so excited to be here with none other than your favorite guest, Pastor Paul.
What's up, everybody?
He's here. He's in full effect. And listen, it was Father's Day this week. And first, let me just start by this, saying, if you guys don't follow us on Facebook, make sure that you're following us on Facebook. You want to be able to go back and watch some of these Sunday services. We had 3 testimonies by 3 different fathers this Sunday here at Stonewall Campus, and we did that in all our campuses. But if you want to go watch the ones from Stonewall, you can watch them live on Facebook. They were absolutely incredible. The first testimony, AJ, jacked me up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm snotting, I'm crying.
It was so good.
If you don't want to snot and cry, don't go watch it. I'm going to tell you right now. And the other testimonies were great, excellent, so good, but just so impressed with.
Well, the story.
Yeah.
And just the vulnerability in the story that's so fresh.
Yeah,
you know,
it's real. It's not some story about what happened 10 years ago. It's what God's doing in my life right now.
Yeah, and it's pretty powerful. And there's so many of those in our church, but it's just great when I love seeing men.
Yeah.
Get up and
cry a little bit.
And well, I mean, they leading, they chasing the Lord, they're and finding freedom, and he even gave a plug for freedom. But it's just something that I think is a good segue into what we can talk about today. But man, everybody's voice is important.
Yes.
But when our men get up and lead like that, I just think there's something powerful. It's something about that voice that God put on it.
And I think it's biblical.
Yeah.
And I think just something about men speaking truth.
Yep.
That is so powerful and so necessary. And for our children to see it, for their wives to see it.
Yeah.
What a testimony for their wives to be sitting there and being like, that's my man.
Yep.
That's my man up there snotting and crying and telling the truth like that.
Yeah.
So good. And for the wives to be able to say, I tried to tell y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't know, but I tried to tell y'all.
Yeah.
For us to be able to get in on a little bit of what the change that they've seen, that they've experienced in the life of, it's just incredible. So, man, I had a great Father's Day. I hope y'all had a great Father's Day. Listen, I'm going to just let Pastor Paul tell y'all, I wish we had video. I wish we had a photo of what my man got for Father's Day. First of all, were all the kids involved in this gift? Did Casey get this for you? Did you get it for yourself?
No. So this one, it's the flamethrower or blowtorch, whatever you want to call it.
No, he got a literal blowtorch, y'all, a flamethrower. It's incredible.
Awesome. It's awesome. Nothing makes you feel more manly than holding fire in your hands. That's just it's pretty awesome. But Connor, actually, I got to give Connor credit. That was his creativity. Yeah. Now, Ryan, she came up with another gift that I love, and so I got to give props to her. She got me a little cordless power washer. It's a battery-operated power washer. You hook a hose up to, and it's got a 21 volt. I'm excited to try that out. So I got water and fire.
Okay. There was a theme going on.
I guess, yeah.
There was a theme going on. And
Earth,
Brady
wind,
prayed
and fire.
for you. Brady prayed for you. Brady just
Brady just he gave me a great card.
Okay.
And they all pitched in on the power washer, but Connor, it was his was the flamethrower idea.
I don't even know if it's borderline illegal to have this thing. When I saw him shoot this video of this flamethrower, and he's just in the house, just
sitting in the recliner,
just melting the ceiling fan from the recliner. It's the coolest gift. But it looked like, did you get to rest at all? Did you get to take a nap in that recliner?
I probably dozed off. Man, Casey cooked a great lunch and cleaned up, because usually the rule at the house is if you cook, whoever cooks doesn't clean.
Okay.
So, which is why I don't like it when Casey cooks a lot. It's amazing, but then I'm like, well, I might have to clean.
I got to do the cleaning.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to do that. Cereal sounds great tonight.
After I'm full, I want to just sit down.
Yeah. So, but on Father's Day, I get that's the treat. I get the meal, and I don't have to clean. I get to just chill. So it was great.
Little downtime, little just you time with the family. That's good, man. I went to Dallas.
I saw that.
I went to Dallas.
My favorite restaurant.
I went to Terry Black's. Y'all, if you ain't never been to Terry Black's, I'm just telling you, missing out. It's barbecue done right. That's what I can tell you.
Just bring your pocketbook.
Yeah, come ready.
If you want a rib.
Come ready to bless yourself. Because, yeah, you just be ready. That's all I'm going to tell you. But it's worth it. It's worth a 3-hour drive.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
So we drove 3 hours, stood in line for an hour, had to share a table with people from other countries because it was so packed, couldn't get in, and spent a grip of money but made an amazing memory, had a great time. And,
was that Eli's first time there?
No. Eli is a connoisseur of Terry Black.
Okay.
At this point. Eli has actually not only been to Terry Black's, but he's actually been to Black's Barbecue,
Which is the original.
Okay.
Is that down by Austin?
Yeah,
somewhere
well,
by there?
it's outside of Austin.
Okay.
It's like in the middle of nowhere, really.
Okay.
It's in a little small town. I wish I could remember the name of the town. Freeport, something like that. Texas, Hempfield, Texas, somewhere. But yeah, we've been there and eaten that. And there's no line there. At least when we went, there was no line. And the food's just as good. And probably costs a little less. So if you want to make the drive kind of out of your way,
I'm good.
it's worth it. But no, Eli is a connoisseur of barbecue at this point. He has had it in Austin. He's had it in Dallas. He's had it in, there's a place called the Porch, I think in Houston. I think it's called the Porch or the Back Porch. Another amazing barbecue place. So good. So I'm going to be honest. So if you know anything about me growing up, we couldn't afford good meat. So no shade on my family, but we couldn't afford good meat. You know what I'm saying? So for years, if you said, "Hey, do you want some brisket? Do you want some pork chops? Do you want?" My answer was no, because my experience was not great, to be honest. And I remember having good barbecue for the first time, and going, like, you can cut this with a fork.
This melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was used to the stuff that, like it.
You chewed all the flavor out and had to spit it back out on your plate.
Be like, and to this day, if my mom says you want a pork chop, my answer is no. Mom, I don't want one of them.
I figured the answer would be, it depends on who's cooking it,
Who's
where's
cooking
it
the
from.
pork chop? Where are we getting the pork chop from? You cooking the pork chop? I don't want the pork chop.
I feel like you probably could do barbecue. I feel like you probably could do, like, I can't smoke nothing. Like, I don't.
Honestly, I don't have the equipment to try.
That's probably what it is for me.
Yeah, I feel like you got to have the right
You need a good, like,
stuff.
pellet grill. You need something you can just put in there and let it sit. It stays at the right temp.
And it's got to cook all night.
Yeah, like if you're like messing with coals and all that kind of stuff, like I think I'm out.
I think it's part of the joy of it, though. That's part of the art of it, is keeping the fire the right temperature. And I think it would be fun to try. I don't think I'm ready to commit my life to perfection of barbecue. There's too many people that do it well.
Yeah. Well, Tim Dominguez said, he just mentioned Hutchinson's.
He's mentioned that to me before.
Yeah, and it is good. I've been there. It's a buffet, which may turn you off.
I don't know, Tim.
I know.
I don't know about no buffet barbecue.
It's like an all-you-can-eat, but I got to admit, it's pretty good. Like, it really is.
Okay.
But all their stuff is good. The sides, the dessert, like, it's pretty good.
It's worth it.
It's worth a try.
I'm thinking I had an opportunity to go. Maybe I don't know. I missed out on it or something. Maybe I need to try it. Maybe I've been and I forgot, and if I did, that says something about Hutchinson right there. But I'm going to take Tim's word for it, because I feel like Tim would know something about some barbecue also. Like so many men, that are probably not watching right now, that know so much about barbecue. And hey, listen, for those of you that are watching us live, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you being here, listening to us just talk about barbecue. We're going to talk about more than that, I promise. But we had a great Father's Day, had a lot of fun in Dallas. So many fun things to do in Dallas. I mean, every time I get over there, I'm like, I find something new. Found this thing called Nickel Mania. Yeah, it's like Dave and Buster's on the cheap level.
Really?
It's like poor man's
Is that
Dave
the arcade
and
that, like, you get, like, you pay one fee and then you just play all?
No, that's
okay.
Cidercade.
Okay.
There's a place called Cidercade over there that's got like older games, and you can go in and pay a cover charge, and you can just kind of play all the games and eat quarters. Nickel Mania, basically you pay a cover charge to get in. It's like $4 a head, which is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And then literally, your credits are a nickel a piece.
Okay.
And so when I asked the girl, I said, look, I've never been here before, and there were 3 of us. I said, we got about 45 minutes to kill, because we also went and did some indoor putt-putt at Putt Shack, which I don't know if you've done Putt Shack. It's great. You got to go. You like it. But she's like, oh, you could probably just get a $5 card. You'd be good. And I'm like, $5 card. Like, we'd be done with that in 5 minutes. I'm used to that Dave and Buster's lifestyle. You got to pay $75 or Surge, right? You go to Surge
man,
and
nickel of
Bossier.
credit, $5 is probably pretty good.
Man, well, I mean, so the most credits you paid for a game was 8, which is 40 cents though if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right? So so I was like, no, give me that $20 card. You know, I mean, it just felt so cheap,
He was
bro.
going to be there all day.
We stayed an hour and only used half the credits in an hour between 3 of us, and we were swiping that card, listen, like it was plastic at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were just swiping it, but anyway, so yeah, I got to go back to Dallas now so I can use the rest of my credits. I got $10 left on my card that I got to go use, but we had a good time and then got back
Casey
late.
and I are headed that way. We'll borrow it.
You need a bar? Okay.
We might,
Take
yeah.
the car, go to Nickel Mania,
Yeah.
have a good time. You won't have to pay nothing but that cover charge, like $8. Y'all be good to go. So, all right. So hey, we're talking about fathers. Obviously, it's been Father's Day week, and honestly, it's one of those things I don't know that you can talk enough about. I feel like probably it's something we don't talk about enough. Maybe is the importance that the father plays in the house, the importance the father plays in society, the importance that father plays in the church, right? There is a role and a responsibility that fathers have that is so important that they measure up to, stand up to, rise up to, because God uses fathers to do so many incredible things. And as we were kind of getting ready for this, we kind of talked about this idea that there are 2 camps. Camp number 1 is that you grow up wanting to be like your dad, right? And for those of you that are in that camp, man, that's a great camp to be in.
Yeah.
But there's another camp, and we have to be honest about that camp too. And it's not to put guilt or shame or any of that, but there's also that camp of, I want to grow up and be the exact opposite of who my dad was. I want to be the opposite of my father, and that could be for multiple reasons. I've had the opportunity, you've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of men over the years, and it's interesting how when you go back and talk, you'll find, regardless of the age, you can always, as you begin to dig, go back and find things that were attributed to the father, rather good or bad. And so, but one of the things that we think is important that everybody understand is that regardless of who your earthly father was, whether he was someone that you wanted to be just like or someone you wanted to be nothing like, they were never intended to be the standard of what fatherhood should look like.
That's good.
No matter how good a job they did or how poor of a job they did. You know, I think there are people that sometimes get turned off by the idea when we talk about, so we have to think about, like, if you didn't have a great father figure in your life and we stand up here and talk about God as a father, sometimes it can cause resistance, right?
My dad actually talks about that, or he did early on to us. That was some of his struggles when he first got saved and came in to the church, was because he had terrible examples of men as fathers in his life. And so that was a huge hurdle. He was like, if God's a father,
I don't need
I don't
more of
want
that.
him. Yeah, because all I know is this. So
yeah.
You're right. It does affect people.
And you know, I'm fortunate. You know, I've been very blessed to have fathers in my life. You know, my story is probably different than most and unique, but I've always had fathers in my life. You know, and to this day, you know, I remember sending out Father's Day texts on Sunday. I try to stop and make sure I send out some texts, you know, to the fathers in my life, but they're not all by relation, they're not all by marriage. You know, there are other fathers in my life too that are spiritual, men that I consider to be fathers of faith in my life, and the role that they play in my life. And I've been very thankful that even though I come from, you know, and this is not a secret, I'm not putting dirt out there, but even though I come from broken families and broken relationships, even in that, there's always been a consistent father figure or father in my life through that process. I know everybody can't say that.
Yeah.
Some people go through broken relationships and that's not their story. There was an absence of the father in their life. But I've always been very fortunate to have good fatherly role models in my life, and I'm so thankful for all those men that God has put in my life in different seasons and different times. But I also know that there are those people that, man, they have felt the absence of that in their life, the lack of that presence, that guidance, that teacher, that instructor, that coach. What a great word. One of the roles that I think a father does so well is coach. I think you and I talked about that at one time, that we were talking about the different stages maybe that children go through. And one of the stages is when they need a coach in life.
Yeah.
And knowing the difference between the stages, knowing when to be what in that role.
Yeah, no, that's huge. But yeah, there is a season that as your kids get older, you have to progress in your relationship. You know, you're not commander in chief their whole life.
Which would be nice.
Yeah, you loosen control, and it's as they get older, your relationship evolves, I think, which is why it's so important to be early on setting and molding and shaping, because your hope is as they get older that I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of coaching, and then eventually you become a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And you just watch and keep your mouth shut, and and
dads, if you're listening,
hold your tongue, and then but you're there, but you celebrate and cheer, and hopefully develop a relationship where when they do need wisdom, they need some coaching, they need something, that they'll come to you and say, hey, I need your help.
Yeah.
And that's when you get permission to say, okay, well, let me share. So
yeah, I love that, because it plays into the first testimony that we had here. AJ talked about the evolution of the man, and that the role of the father, the role of the man, really is constantly evolving. Right, it's growing and developing. No matter who you are or where you are in life, we should constantly be evolving. And it's funny, in the church, evolution is a word that we kind of stay away
ties
from.
To something else.
Yeah, you're like, we don't want to put that
Yeah.
evolution over here. But when talked about in a biblical concept, in a spiritual term, we should be evolving. We should be growing, right? That how I father my son, at age 3 should be a little different than how I father him now at age 12.
Yeah.
And probably at age 20, it probably don't need to look like 12, right? It needs to look different. But that doesn't require them to change. That requires me to change. That requires me to evolve and develop and grow. And just kind of the importance of that, and really just trying to determine, how do we know we're doing it well? I mean, I don't know about you, but nobody's given me the manual yet to father well, father properly, father good. Like, I don't have it. Maybe it's a book somebody else. Maybe y'all can drop it in the comments if y'all read it and let us know about it. Maybe I need to read it. I'm 12 years late, though.
Yeah, no. There isn't. And I think what makes it difficult is all of our kids are so different, too.
Yeah.
Even gender-wise, it's different.
Yeah.
Between parenting a daughter and a son, and what they need. And then I just think about, man, you kind of laugh. At this point, I look back, and I know there's some young dads out there that are killing it and doing it great.
Yeah,
I know y'all are doing great.
Yeah,
so
y'all read a book. We didn't know about it.
Yeah, but I just know, I think back of when, like, we brought Connor home, our oldest, from the hospital, and I can remember thinking when we put him in the car seat in the back, had it turned where you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Casey didn't even ride back there with him. She was next to me, and we was driving, and we kept looking back, and his head kept falling over, and I remember thinking, as they were letting us drive off from the hospital, I was like,
y'all making a mistake.
I cannot believe y'all are letting us take him home without y'all. Y'all aren't coming with us. Y'all ain't gonna stay with us for like 6 months. Make sure we don't kill him. But like that whole story, I think just progresses the decisions and things that you're trying to figure out, and regrets.
Yeah.
All of that. Thank God for the help of the Holy Spirit and grace that makes up the difference.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that there is a formula.
And
there's some great principles, which I know we've got. There's some great principles, but still.
And maybe we can just be grateful they were too young to remember.
Yeah, hopefully
they
you
know what I'm saying?
forget.
Like God covered that in the fact that you were too young to remember that crazy. But I like that, because you're alluding to something, whether you meant to or not, that I think is important. I think it's important for every father to hear, is I feel like in our society, there's oftentimes this idea, and I think it probably comes from our fathers and our grandfathers, that the children really just need their mom in the early years and their dad in the later years. But I've found that that's not the truth. They need their dad in the early years just as much. The roles and the responsibilities may be different for the mom and the dad in those early years of development and care and nurture and those things. But the involvement of the dad in those early years is just as vital and crucial. Especially, you know, I don't have, you know, I have Eli, and Eli is honestly, I tell everybody, Eli's the easiest kid in the world. Like, the Lord knew. Okay, the Lord looked at Brandon and said, I'm going to have to make this easy for him. Like, I can't, he's not going to do well. Eli is literally just throw him in the car, and you could go for 24 hours, and as long as you made sure that he had something to eat and he got to go to the bathroom,
he was good.
He's good. If his basic needs are met, Eli didn't really have anything else. He's not asking for anything else. I thought I wanted girls. I realized the Lord knew better, first of all, that I didn't. But I remember being at a dinner one night, and I've shared this story before with a group of men, and a dad sitting across from me, a guy that I knew very well, a guy in ministry, and he had one son and 2 or 3 daughters. And I remember him sitting at the table. We're just talking about family, and this is before I even had kids. So at this point, I'm just a youth pastor. Okay, I have no wisdom, no knowledge. I know what I think I know, but not what I've experienced. But I knew this. I'm sitting there with him, and he said, "Man," he said, my daughters are at an age right now where they need me less." He said they just need their mom more than they need me, and I'm having to learn to just sort of let go. And I knew the age of his daughters. And we're not talking about grown women. We're not talking about girls. We're talking about high school and junior high age. And I remember looking at him and saying, "Man, if I could just speak into your situation. I know I'm young. I know I don't have no kids. I know there's no reason to listen to me. But as a youth pastor who spent his life speaking with, counseling with, encouraging, loving on, praying for young ladies whose dads were not involved, they need you now more than ever."
Yeah.
And I made this statement to him. I said, the minute they stop being your little girl, they'll start to be somebody else's little girl. And you don't want to let that happen, not at this stage in their life.
Yeah.
It's so important that fathers understand that we're not just to be there when our kids get older, even though that may sound easier. That it's important that we're involved even in those early formative young years of life. And listen, it's going to be awkward. It's going to look silly at times. Like sometimes it may mean that, you know, you're just going to have to wear the lipstick and the eyeshadow because your little girl just wanted to dress you up that day. Just wash it off before you go out in public. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't come to church like that, but just, we won't judge you. We'll make a place for you, but it's just going to be awkward. Yeah. And that's okay.
It is. It's okay. And those are some of the things, like, my dad's phenomenal. He really is. And, you know, I'm the baby, so especially, you know, the babies, they get the best version usually. Yeah. You know, I'm the baby of all the, and so, you know, my parents had evolved and were believers and, you know, and I was raised predominantly, you know, in a Christian home. And so my dad taught me about work ethic, and I got to watch him chase the Lord and see God's moving in his life and all those things. But at the same time, you know, he comes from a John Wayne era. Yeah. And he admits that, you know, and comes from an era where there was, you know, your provider, your protector, you know, but it wasn't and it wasn't that they weren't involved. He coached my baseball teams, T-ball, like he was a coach. He was involved in all those kind of things. But, you know, there is some things that, you know, I think you learn generationally, and I think we can all speak into that, you know, my mom was probably left a lot with the nurturing and like the more present, you know, and some of the details of like schoolwork and, you know, all those things. And so I think we're learning though that, man, looking up in the stands and seeing Dad there watching watching my daughter play soccer, or watching her. I remember going to the gymnastics and sitting in the balcony and all these girls running around tumbling and all that. And she'd look up. I'd be like, I have no idea what you're doing. It looks amazing. You know what I mean? But just being there is huge. Also, I'll just say this too. I think, you know, and we're afraid to talk about some of these because of people's situations. And I just want to pause and just say that too real quick. As I was saying about this earlier when we started, you were saying sometimes we don't talk enough about these kind of things. I think part of the reason I feel like, man, especially as a pastor, I know that there's stories in the room. People hear it, and like when you talk about how important this is, and then there's a single mom. You know, there's some kind of dynamic in someone's home that is at the season, they're not able to feel like they're participating, or their kids aren't getting this. Yeah. And so you're like, man, I don't want this to sound like this is a disadvantage now.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think we got to also talk about it because we can't cater to the brokenness. Yeah. We have to say, man, like your voice matters, and if you are a father, we want to prevent the brokenness. Like we want to get ahead of it, and so we've got to continue to talk about the importance of the voice of the man, the presence of the man. In a young child's life, I think it's huge. My daughter, the greatest compliment that I can get is when like I say, it means the world to me, is when my daughter is looking at potential. Now she's at the age where she's dating and she's in a serious relationship, and
Pastor Paul went back to commander-in-chief, even though he said that's not.
Well, that's why I got the blowtorch, and so, no, he's great. We love Carter. He's great. But even that investigative part of her life where she was thinking, she made the comment to Casey, my wife, she was like, I want to find someone that treats me like I've watched Dad treat you. Wow. And so even the way that our presence and the way that we respond, and we're in our marriages and with relationships and all that, they're getting cues more from us than what we know. Yeah. Even if you don't feel like it's not schoolroom, it's not classroom setting. Right. It's the way we live our life. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think God's ultimate plan A in the home is that we actually are the primary disciplers.
Oh, yes.
Not the church.
Yes. Absolutely.
The church obviously is huge. Yeah. But I think there's more discipleship happening in the home. It's happening. It's just, what are we discipling them towards?
That is the truth. It's happening. Yeah. We have to decide how it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Because if we look at early church, right, there was no youth pastors. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, we can go on a whole nother. I mean, I know there are churches that have been like, hey, we're disbanding youth ministry. Mm-hmm. We're getting rid of it. We're not doing it. That might be an extreme. I think there's a place for that. I think there's a place for that ministry. But to give that responsibility to someone else, to a 22-year-old, you know, and be like, hey, man, this is the person who's going to sort of disciple and develop my child. Mm-hmm. That was never their responsibility or their role. They can encourage, they can equip, they can help. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. And I want to say to those, you know, we talk about why we talk around it. I want to say to those moms that maybe feel like, man, you know, but there's not a father figure. And I feel like I can speak somewhat to this because, you know, in the opposite of that, you know, I'm in a situation where there's not a mother in the home, right? God will put voices there if you will let him. Yep. God will put people in your life and in your child's life and in your path that will fill those voids if you let him. And if you don't have those, pray for them. Pray for them. Pray that God will send godly male voices into your child's life, to speak into your child's life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with praying for that, and I believe that God wants to do that. Yeah. And I think, if anything else, it also reminds us that we have a responsibility as men not to just be great fathers to our children, but be great fathers to the children of the house, the children of the church. I mean, and I love that. I see that in our culture here. I love to watch the young men walk in, and our guys are high-fiving them, and, you know, celebrating them. And if they just had a victory, you know, on the football field or on the wrestling mat or whatever it is, it's not just that child's dad celebrating it. He's being celebrated by the men of the house when he walks through the door. And same for the girls. If the girls come in and, you know, they've won a softball tournament or whatever, we're, you know, great game, way to go, you know, you're a champion. I love that. And I think really some of the greatest men in my life, as I look at them, they're fathers to so many people.
Yeah.
They're fathers to the church, they're fathers to the city, and they're fathers to the nation, and fathers to the world. And ultimately, that's because they've taken their example from the Father, from the Heavenly Father.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's an encouragement to all the men in the house that watching and like just a part of the church. Like we have our families that we need to be faithful to lead primarily.
Yeah.
But God will open doors, and not just in the church setting, but at our workplaces.
Yes.
And in just different environments, coaching.
Yes.
And when we're leading the t-ball team or whatever we're stepping into to serve or volunteer, just be aware that your voice really matters to the kids.
Yes.
And
so much so.
You can have a more impact than what you really think. The season's over. That time frame's over. That work time is over. But your impact's pretty huge.
Even beyond age. Like the truth is, we've got grown men that are walking in here that need senior men to look in their life and say fatherly things. Because you never age out of that. It's part of how you're created and wired. You're looking for affirmation from the Father, no matter what stage of life you're in. And it's such an encouragement and a reminder to be aware and to look around and to see the man. One of the people that does that really well on our staff, I think we've got several on our staff that do it really well. I think Pastor Glenn does it really well. I think he's a great father figure. I sent him a text and just said, hey, man, happy Father's Day to a man who fathers the multitudes. Does it so well. But I think of Pastor John. Like, you rarely sit down with Pastor John and he's not telling you a story of a conversation he's having with a 22, 23, 24-year-old guy and he's talking about things that normally would be a conversation you would think would be, reserved for your father.
Right.
But they're having it with him because he's stepped into a place of safety and security and not even necessarily always authority, but an authority figure who has some life, has some experience, and is willing to share it. I think more and more men need to come to a place where we're willing to share those things that we've experienced and gone through, those mistakes that we've made, to be able to, we talk about sometimes we want to sweep stuff underneath the rug. Sometimes we just need to expose it and go, hey, listen, before you do that, just let you know, I did that. And let me tell you how it ends. You do what you want to do. But I'm going to just take a minute and tell you, there's probably a better way. And I've learned from experience. Such a great opportunity because in essence, it is ministry. Like if you look at the word and you talk, God is the father to the fatherless. That is a ministry.
It is. It's part of what Christ expects for us to help fulfill is to step into the gaps. And do things. I think about things, it's wisdom. It is counsel. But it's simple things. And it's funny, I'll tell Casey sometimes, I have friends and different peers and different people that are obviously men in my life. And one of the things that Pastor Glenn really instilled that I watched, it was so different for me. My family, we love each other. We're close, and it's even evolved. Like there's a lot more I love yous and hugs and kisses and all of that with my parents and my brother and sister. Like we're close. But there wasn't a lot of that affection growing up. So I remember getting on staff here, and Pastor Glenn, like he'll kiss you.
Day one.
He'll
just welcome
hug
to the church
on you and kiss you on the cheek. And
yes, sir.
I remember watching, like experiencing it, but then just watching even his family, Lance and his family, and how close they were, and all those things, and just the affection that was poured out, and all the people he would say, I love you to, and it would just, and it impacted me. And so it has become a big part of like, even with my friends, like I'll text them or men in the church, like I purposely say, I love you.
With the blue heart.
No, I don't put the emojis on there. That's a little out there. I just say I love you. But what's funny is I can tell where someone's at, and it's not always reciprocated.
Yeah, they don't love you back sometimes.
No, like I have some friends that I'll text and I'll say I love you, or I'll be on the phone and I'll be getting ready to go, like pastor friends. So I'm like, all right, man, I love you. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it. They're like,
it just hangs. It just hangs.
All right, man, I'll talk to you later. But you know what? I just keep doing it, and eventually, what happens is
they'll love you back.
They'll love you back.
Yeah.
And I think that there is something about that, like our voice, and like I know it seems so simple, and I'm not just throwing that around like I love pizza. Like I'm really trying to say, like I love you. Like I'm committed. Like I love you with the love of the Lord. Yeah. Pastor Glenn used to always, he still does. He'll call me and I'll answer, and he'll say, has anybody told you they love you with the love of the Lord today? Like I'm talking about for 30 years he's been doing that.
Wow.
And so those were some of the things as a father that imparted that,
Yeah.
but it changed something in me. I wasn't always that person.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that means, so like with our family, it means something, but even as we're being that voice to other men,
yeah,
like you're talking about saying, I love you, encouraging, man, you're awesome. I want you to know that you're an amazing man.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Like those kind of things like that, those are things that people haven't grown up hearing sometimes.
No. In especially, which is weird, right? Because you would think of all places in American culture, like that would be where it'd be most prominent. I don't know why I think that. I just think Americans would
especially in the South.
Yeah, walk around and be like, hey, love you, man. You know,
Yeah.
But really, as you get close, people are resistant to that. They're like, man, you can say God loves you.
Yeah.
They kind of take that. But I love you, it will cause them to go pause and go, what? You love me?
Yeah.
You know,
like that seems like too much of an endearing term.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Why use that? But this is the vocabulary that Jesus used. Mm-hmm. This is the vocabulary that our Heavenly Father uses. Mm-hmm. I've loved you with an everlasting love. And I think it's so vital because I think more people need to hear that. I think they need to hear those words. Hey, I love you. I know I've told you, I tell you I love you.
Yeah.
And, I've got several friends and I tell them I love them. And I think that's probably maybe not necessarily what I was accustomed to, same growing up. I don't know. But I remember talking to a guy, preaching a message a few years back, and talking about that very thing, talking about the importance of affirmation and speaking, not just showing your love, but voicing that love. Mm-hmm. And I remember this guy walking up to me at the end of the service, tears in his eyes, and you could tell he was military. I mean, you just look at him. He's older than me. He still had the military cut. He's still military, dressed. He was military. And him telling me a story of growing up in a home where I think his father was military, and he never heard those words come out of his dad's mouth. Never knew those words. And he said, I'll never forget coming home one day. He said he got leave, and he went home. His father had taken ill, and he went home. His father met him at the door. He said he opened the door, and his father looked at him, and the first words he said to him was, I love you. And he said, I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
He said, and I, standing there as a grown man, just began to weep and cry because I didn't know how much I needed that.
Yeah.
Not that my father had not shown me that he had loved me, not that he hadn't provided, protected, and all the things a father was supposed to do. But when he said it, I knew it.
Yep.
And there are a lot of men that maybe they need to know that. Maybe they need to know today, hey, listen, you are loved. And if your earthly father's never told you, just know that your heavenly Father is doing everything he can to express to you that he loves you, he's proud of you, he's for you, and he wants to see you do great things, and you're doing better than you think you are. We've taken up all our time. We had some other stuff. We didn't even get into that. We didn't even talk about it. But I'm so excited for the generation to come. I'm believing that John Wayne. I love John Wayne. Don't get me wrong.
I do too.
I'm a John Wayne fan.
But like my mom tells my dad when he says he's from the era, she says he's rude. Yeah.
It might not work for him as well today as it did back then.
John Wayne's characters were always divorced. Their kids didn't love him. You know what I mean?
He was struggling.
He could gunfight.
Yeah. He knew how to win a fight.
You want him
but
to
outside of that, He was having to drag the women. The
Yeah.
women weren't just ready,
Yeah.
just coming with him.
No.
He was having to drag them. So if you're having to drag your woman, listen,
Yeah,
maybe you need to make some change.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to
Say,
evolve.
"I
Maybe
love
you need
you."
to change some things.
Yeah.
God loves you. Hey, but we love you. And to all the dads out there, listen, you're doing better than you think you are.
Yeah.
And regardless of where you are right now, regardless of mistakes you feel like you may have made in the past, regardless of the time that may have already gone by, just know it's never too late to do the right thing. And go ahead and take that first step today. And maybe you need to begin to say things like to your children, hey, listen, Dad loves you. And I know it's going to feel awkward and weird the first time you do it. Do it till they say it back. Just begin to express that love and show that love. And then one other thing, and I want to say this, and we kind of said this before. We don't have time to really get into it, but I want to encourage some things. Maybe you're there, and we talked about the two camps. We talked about the guys who, man, they just want to grow up and be like their dad. I think that's great. But we talked about the guys also that are like, man, I don't want to be anything like my dad. I want to encourage you. Search your heart and ask yourself, have you forgiven the mistakes that your father made?
That's good.
Because sometimes we stay trapped because of the unforgiveness we don't give. And I just want to challenge and encourage you. Maybe you've come from a home where you're like, man, my dad was not the best dad. You know what? I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. There have all been times where we haven't been on our best. Man, ask the Lord if maybe there's some forgiveness He wouldn't have you extend in that relationship, and see if God can't do a miracle in that relationship through the forgiveness that He brings through you. Maybe it takes you being the father that your father wasn't, and maybe that begins by forgiving the father that you didn't have.
That's good.
And so, hey, we love you. Thank you so much for being here. We've got a great week coming up this week. Great message, part 2 of our
Excited about
series.
it,
Going to be incredible, and really talking about some things that are going to be helpful to you in your walk with God. Hey, remember to share this, like it, make some comments, let us know you were there. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us every week on Sunday Seconds. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See ya.